The main reason that this engine got torn down was this fitting here broke, and I sent it to Ryan at R Services, and he rebrazed that back on for me. The other reason, because I took the tender apart, I actually discovered these screws here used to be steel, and the tips protrude through and sit in the tank full of water, apparently for 50 something years before I bought the engine. Anyway, had that not broken off, I would have not discovered this tank had a solid scab of rust in there. And you can see where it went up the sides even. And apparently that rust had been going through the boiler all this time. Anyway, I took it all apart, sent the pump to Ryan to get it fixed, and I asked him to give me some kind of screws that won't rust, so I've got these brass screws now. I put vinegar in the boiler, rinsed it out real good, got a bunch of black bits out, which I think are the rust. So I did it again and got black bits again, and the third time, no more black bits. So this needs to retain water. The pump goes through a fitting here. Whoops, I just dumped alcohol out again. And connects to the engine, and basically when you run the pump by hand, it forces water into the boiler. Besides taking the safety off and putting water in that way, that's the only way to get water into this engine is with the hand pump. There is no axle pump. Supposedly Reno was something like Aster's second engine. Where these holes are, we don't want the tender to leak. So I'm just gonna put some of this around here, and it's okay that it'll get in the threads of the screws, which will give it a bit of a thread lock so that they don't back out. This fitting here, which protrudes through the tank, through the floor of the tender, also needs to be watertight. So gonna give this one some caulk too. So I don't have to tighten anything right now. I just have to get them all started. So the fun part is going to be, once this is on here, not getting caulk everywhere while I put the screws into the base of the pump. So it's brass on brass, so I want to be careful not to cross thread anything, because, well, you don't ever want to cross thread this stuff anyway, but on the softer metal it's even more prone to damaging the threads if you cross thread it. With the caulk in there, I can't see if the screw is lining up with the hole. So I'm literally doing it by sense of smell. I don't remember if I said it, but what I used to get that rust scab out of this tender tank was vinegar. You see the piping there that this is going to connect to. So I'm just going to set this down in there, and now I'm ready to connect this one. I had to change the battery on the GoPro. So the tank is in there loose so that I can move it around to get to this fitting. All right. So I think that should be, oh hell. You know what I forgot to do? This is supposed to be affixed on the tank. To pull this fitting tight so that it'll be watertight. So I feel it snug right there, and I'm just gonna barely put a little bit of extra on there. This is a steel nut on a brass fitting. I think it's brass. It might be copper, but I believe it's a copper tube. So I don't know if the fitting is brass or copper, but either way, I don't want to break it. And then it's time to tighten this guy in here too. All right, let's try that again. Looks like about to say that looked like an 8 mil to me, but all right. So I like to bag parts with their fasteners and different groups of parts I like to bag together. Come on, stubborn. Go. Most of the screws are Phillips nowadays, but this engine is from the 1970s. 1975, I think, is when it was manufactured, which makes it 50 years old last year. And the Phillips are a little easier because you can just sort of direct them with the tip of the screwdriver. With the flatheads, if you try to direct them, the screwdriver just slides out of the slot. All right. That pin is mighty close to, oh, that's the end right there, and it looks like it's just touching it. Hopefully that doesn't poke a hole in the fuel line. That would be bad. I know when I was first test running the engine I built from a kit, so I had zero experience, and as I'm test running it on the rollers, it's like, why is that tie bubbling? What is up with that? It was actually alcohol had dripped and started the plastic tie on fire, but the alcohol flame, I couldn't even see it. And I cut it off even longer than estimated. Cut this one off longer than estimated also, because I don't want to. I have a schools which is supposedly mechanically the same locomotive, and I never separate the engine from the tender. And this one, again, they're just small enough you can pick them up at the same time, so I don't plan on separating this one either. Keep trimming until I hit the right length. Yeah, I think that's about right. Well, it looks like it's yanking that tube sideways pretty hard, but well, it doesn't look too terrible when it's on the track. So let's simulate going around some curves. Looks like it's going to be okay. All right, well, can't do anything till the caulk has 24 hours to set up. I am going to try and clean it up. So as I was fooling with vinegar, this dome is so much brighter than that dome because I just, dipped my finger in the vinegar and rubbed it, and it brightened up pretty well. So there's all kind of 50 years worth of goobed up steam oil and whatnot. So I think I'm going to try and brighten her up a little bit. Plus this bell always wants to be upside down. So. Well, whether she runs or not, she's definitely brighter than she was before. I spent a lot of time polishing all the brass and that kind of stuff. Took the headlight out, polished all that stuff, polished the bell, the sand dome, and the steam dome, the whistle. I polished the wheels. By the way, there's apparently nothing very good at getting 50-year-old steam oil off. There's some of it I just couldn't get off for nothing. But she's all cleaned up. I guess tomorrow will be the big test to see if she'll run or not. Well, she's running well. There was additional problems. The feed water tube under the tender was plugged by a little bit of caulking that somehow or another floated through. Running well now though, although the pilot truck won't stay on the track, but I'll have to fool around with that later. Luckily there's no points or guardrails right now on this layout, so there's no danger of it catching on something and flipping the train off the track.